Well, if you watch these as they're posted live, a heads up, this might be the last one for a week or two, as that impending trip of mine to the great land of the Finns is rapidly approaching. But for now, we get to set our sights on another off season and hopefully as a team taking that next step forward. Of course, the Hamilton frickin' Hounds win again. Why would they not? That's just how it works at this stage. But you would have seen there with the contracts, we have some pretty big decisions coming up in terms of what we want to look to do again after falling to Calgary in 6 games, who went on as well to lose to the Hamilton Hounds. They have been absolutely fantastic throughout the course of this series, and it would be one of those things where I wish we could look at the full 25 years worth of championships. And really, I mean, the old 2K games, you had the ability to look at the very first Stanley Cup all the way up to however far in you simmed. It would be nice to know just how successful Hamilton would prove to be by the end of this run. I mean, again, they are showing no signs whatsoever of slowing down. As you get a look here at the top players, of course, a lot of these guys would have had 0 career NHL games, but have very much turned it on as of late. A dude at 28 years old just retired. You certainly won't see that all that often, but there you go. We get ready for this draft. And again, obviously, we will not have an incredible draft pick in terms of positioning, but as we have seen from other teams, especially Hamilton, especially Calgary, that's really no excuse. 44th overall pick, you look at who's available here because again, the AI is going to generate 48 potential first-round picks, or close to it at least. You've seen some of the steals the teams have gotten. There was a franchise-level player in the draft, Paris Hogan, on his way to Tampa Bay in the tidal waves. So the Eastern Conference just got a lot more difficult to navigate. But let's take a look at who's available to us here. And obviously, these top 4 we can pin immediately. We know absolutely nothing about Tom Farmer. We do know that he had a good point total, but would that be enough to risk it? Brulier's also there. Copeland, Picard. Quite a few unknowns still. It's going to have to be one of those top dogs unless there's somebody that much better. So let's take a look here. 3 forwards and 1 defenseman. We'll start with the defenseman, Pierce Jaffrey, who doesn't look like anything special, for being honest. I think that's fair. From a forward perspective, the German, Stefan Ombuhl, who has a good shooting category, which is always nice. 2 years out, no abilities. Ernest Rammer, 17-year-old, looking all right. 3 years out, no abilities. And Yuri Kapitanov, who is about the same. So based off of what we know, Ombuhl is going to be the top option, given the fact that he is only 2 years away from being ready. So if we were to go for him, which seems like it would be the smartest move, or I should say if we weren't to go for him, it would be because we know that there's someone else better. And we start off, Per Tarnqvist, the Swedish goaltender from Färjestad. Damn. There's also the Finn Vesa Pirala. And then you have a couple of guesses out of the 2 out of 4s. There's a confirmed low elite Henrik Seidenberg, who was showing up there as a potential X factor. We didn't look at Frederick Campbell. He doesn't look like anything special, really. Okay, well, unless there's a confirmed top 4 defenseman, and there is not. So now we know we got a couple of more players to look at here, given that, well, our next pick isn't going to be for a very, very long time. The 92nd overall pick. So we are looking at Ombuhl or Tarnqvist. And first and foremost, with Pirala, probably a risk, but we'll look at him later on. And then Seidenberg. Seidenberg's going to be a steal. That guy's going to be a steal and a half for us. So the big question right now, Tarnqvist at 19 years old, 4 years out, or Ombuhl at 18 years old, 2 years out. There's no denying high elite potential for a goaltender would be really, really nice. I mean, again, Winchester's a long shot, so we're looking at Wroclaw and Vinny to kind of carry the weight. And do we want to kind of spec into goaltending that much more when, well, if we're being honest, I mean, goaltending is a complete crapshoot. Higher rateds can be terrible, lower rateds can be great, vice versa. I think we go for the forward help. I do. No denying Tarnkvist could be great, but again, we got to wait until age 23 for him to be ready. Ombul can make an instant impact on this team. So Stefan Ombul is going to be the pick, and I got to be honest, I'm a little bit concerned about it, but he is a 67 overall, medium top 6 sniper, straight 82s for the shot. Nothing else is all that developed. This guy's a glass cannon at 6'3", but all in all, I think we did okay. Let's get the confirmation here. A couple of good starters. Tarnkvist is a 61 overall, 19 years old, on his way to San Francisco. So that is that situation there. So next up, pick number 92. Obviously, Pierala has to be on the list. Our next pick after this is pick number 140. We will not have the chance to get Pierala later on. 3 out of 4 as a medium elite should be good. Should be another defender into the mix, even if it's going to take him a little bit to develop. Is a medium elite, and indeed will take him a while. 48 overall. That is not ideal, to say the least. That said, as we take a look, was there anybody else who was outstanding? There was this guy, Wheeler. Now, we didn't know much about him. He's 19 as well, so he's also going to take forever to develop. Garlock, a medium elite, also going to take forever to develop. So, I mean, yeah, we could have looked elsewhere, but for the most part, I feel like we did okay. You know, obviously, we don't know if our scouts had the information on these guys, but they wouldn't have. Otherwise, we would have pinned them when we had the list sorted by best of the best. So that brings up Seidenberg. Pick 221. We'll be good to go to take him with our next selection. So now is the time where we take a risk. There are 2 players left, 2 out of 4 for medium elites, and a couple players left, 3 to be exact, that are 2 out of 4 for low elites. There's a low 6 and Johan Hedman, who could be taken way down the road. All right, so start off in goal. Orlando McDermott. Great numbers, long shot, though, and certainly we wouldn't have to take him right now. Defensively is Seidenberg. He's our next pick. That leaves the forwards, in which it would either be Pyatt, Falk, or Dalton. So there is Pyatt. Roberto Pyatt. Long shot. Roger Falk of the Barrie Colts. And Kelly Dalton. Obviously, we don't have him scouted that much. That is intriguing, to say the least. Pyatt's personality being loyal and even keel is enticing. Friendly but keeps to himself. Doesn't care about winning. Got to be honest, I think it's going to be the winger, Roberto Pyatt out of Shawinigan. Roberto, welcome aboard, and it's an okay pick. Medium top 9. Useful. Way more useful to us in a series like this than a medium top 9 would typically be. So I can't say I'm all that upset about it. Nobody at the end of that round who was significantly better. Yeah, for the most part, a medium 9 was actually pretty good at that stage of the draft. Not bad. So we already know, again, round number 4, our next pick has to be the Swedish defenseman Henrik Seidenberg. German father, I suppose. But 6'2", 19 years old. Henrik is the guy. No doubt about it. We're going for the low elites. 68 overall. No abilities, but still a 68 overall low elite at 19 years old. That is fantastic. That really, really is. And I mean, again, you look at the players that went before him. Outside of Dalton, ooh, okay, we did screw up. Man, imagine if in the previous round we had gotten Kelly Dalton. Ombul, Pierala, Dalton, Seidenberg. We're talking about our best draft class yet. And honestly, we've had 3 out of 4 very, very good picks, but Dalton was one of those low elites who was actually still a low elite. And you never know for sure. It would have been best guess, but damn, the opportunity was there. We just missed it, though. That leaves Reginald Jaffrey still available, who we could take later on, unless we also wanted to take Johan Hedman, or we go for someone like Solomon Hale, who we know nothing about, but is an overager. I was kind of hoping to see, okay, another unknown, Ryan Janes, out of Guelph at 18, didn't do anything. Para did nothing. I'm not against looking at these unknowns. Jose Walsh, 21 points as a 17-year-old. Carjulio, not that good. Another goalie, Juha Kolamainen. Another goalie, Slovenian, Jonathan Langdon, had pretty damn good numbers. Although, again, I don't know if we need a goalie. Unfortunately, even going off of stats for these unknowns, it's not looking overly pretty. Really. I mean, especially, too, hoping for some of these guys to be 17, 18, and having, decent numbers as well. It's just not really happening for us. I don't feel like we're going to find a steal here either. Although, again, obviously, there's plenty of chances. There we go. Jimmy Schwartz. 18 years old, had decent numbers. Why not take a guy like that instead of one of the other kind of long shots, right? Like that's the type of player to take right now, and to just hope that he actually ends up being better than, an unknown. So we are going to take the Canadian winger, Jimmy Schwartz. Welcome aboard. Yeah, low bottom 6. All right, well, that strategy didn't work. Wasn't the worst idea in theory, but in execution, oof. Let's go for Reginald Jaffrey with this next pick. He is also a low bottom 6. Jesus. Okay. Well, Seidenberg pick was good, but everything else surrounding that has been pretty bad. We'll take Johan Hedman. Why not? A low 6 will have a little bit more value to us in a challenge like this. And that rounds out this draft. A solid draft, not a home run like it could have been. I feel like it's fair to say it really, those top 4 could have been great. Again, not that I expect Pyatt to be terrible, but yeah, it could have been a complete home run for us that simply was not. So in goal, we will drop Garrett Sparks. And holy hell, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with Seidenberg. Oh boy. Okay. I think we have finally hit the point where we can start dropping some people, right? So Pierala, I'm going to want on the AHL defense next year. So Pierala, Stolars, Little, Bakos, Seidenberg. That leaves one other. There's a low 4 in there, a couple of low 4s. There's really none of those guys that have to be signed. There's Watkins, but he'll be at the NHL level. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Watkins. Okay, so there are obviously some people that we can keep, some people it makes sense to get rid of. Let's be honest, at this point, one of our OGs, Nolan Bentham, is gone. 5th rounder in 2023. No real room for improvement. He is NHL caliber, but we are at the point now where we can aim for significant improvement. Honestly, it's a shame because he was actually pretty damn good this year. But I do think we need to aim higher than that with players who can still improve by a decent amount, just given the amount of defensive talent that we have so far. We'll come back to that. Landeskog obviously needs to be qualified. The fact he doesn't want to sign an extension is horrifying. Honestly, Johan Hedman, going to sign him immediately too, put him in the AHL and throw him to the Wolves. Sink or swim, sir. Bell, obviously, goes nowhere. Ahden, also not going to go anywhere. We'll see about McCarty. Don't really care about Schwartz. Pyatt. On Shawinigan, we can avoid signing him. And then for the centers, Oswald, obviously, we're going to keep. Delorier as well. Ombul can either be NHL or AHL this upcoming season. Shepard, we can keep for AHL purposes. And then Jaffrey was quite terrible. So we'll Simaday. Get a lot of these guys signed. So not too much to worry about here. Just got to sign the RFAs. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A couple of depth. Wow, actually a lot of depth options. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 2 extras. Hate to say it, but at this stage, Lance McCarty not going to get much better. I think we're in a position where we could aim to improve. So again, he was an enforcer, 7th round pick in 2024. But I think we are going to let go of McCarty. Unless, right side, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, McCarty's out. We just have too many people. So we're sorry, Lance, but your time with the team has come to an end. And yeah, that right wing side, just the RFA. So it is defensively that we need to figure out. Against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then a 6th defenseman. And then the AHL is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a 6th defenseman. So we got room to keep about 3 of these guys. Maybe a little bit more. So we have to go off of best potential. So Chow, Ivanov. And then from there, it almost doesn't matter. Right? Like Yakula, 5th round pick in 2025. Not looking to be likely to significantly improve. Pakarainen with that potential. Again, nothing overly special there. There's Bentham, who we know isn't going to get better. We already have higher rated players that might be a better fit. Karppinen, not going to get much better, but was pretty good last year. Honestly, just for what they did last year. I mean, because Samu Virtanen, oh man, you look at those abilities though. Not like actual abilities, but he's a really good passer of the puck, has a decent shot. That's a tough call, man, for what to do defensively. It's 5, 6, and we'll say 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How much better is Yakula going to get, you know? Excuse me. Yakula, Pakarainen. We know Bentham's not going to get much better. Karppinen was pretty good last year. I don't know why. Relatively well-rounded. Can't skate worth a damn. I think Samu Virtanen's going to stay. I think he is. And then Nolan Bentham. Holy shit, dude. You can't pass the puck. Nolan, I'm sorry. I think you're gone too. Karppinen, Bentham. Pakarainen doesn't have much going for him because he can't skate. Nor can Yakula. I think we're in the clear. 6 with Virtanen at the NHL level. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and an extra depth option if needed. You knew it would get tough, right? We were going to have to start cutting some players eventually, and I think that decision's pretty straightforward. So no UFAs to worry about, but the RFAs. This is obviously where it's going to get pricey, and Landeskog, you know, that's the question. And honestly, he's going to be expensive down the road. I think we go bridge deal. I think so. He is going to be expensive no matter what. I mean, you could argue that he might be worth 16, 17 mil by the time the deal is up. But at that point, what difference does it make? So we're going to go 4 years at hopefully 11 million even. He doesn't want to sign an extension, so 85% might not work out for us. There's staging, and again, yeah, we're talking a lot of money. We're talking about that 4-year bridge deal at this stage. We're going to go 5.6 million for him. Try and bring it home. We have Bell. Holy shit. Well, turns out it's a 2-year bridge deal for him because he is pricing us the hell out. We're going to go 4.7 for 2 years. Moses. Honestly, we could get away with signing Moses long term right now. 3.3? Or we do the 2-year bridge deal. I think we go for the 2-year bridge deal. Actually, now that I look at it, he's a medium 9. How much better will he get? We'll go 2.3 million over the 2 years. Mr. Watkins, no surprise, wants a boatload of money. So we're looking to go to the end of those RFA years. Bridge deal, 6.1 million. We kind of knew there'd be a lot to do this offseason in terms of balancing the money. We'll see how well this works out. Oswald. Thankfully does not want that much. Try to get him to take a slight discount. For Tannen, try to go 1.3 if we can for the 1 year. We got Chow, who again try to get him to take a slight discount, even off. 2-year deal, 1.3. Man, this money is going to dry up fast. Ahonen, no surprise, wants a little bit of money. Delorier is going to want way too much goddamn money because of how we played him this year. So we'll go 1.6 for the year. Some of these contracts are going to be a little bit wonky to negotiate as well, just because of the setup of the league. Let's see what happens here. So Bell says yes. Does anybody say no? Someone's bound to have rejected a contract. Somebody. Anybody. Even Landeskog. Every single player accepted. That's outstanding. That doesn't happen too often. So these are the 4. Sammy Karppinen, 4th rounder in 2024. Nolan Bentham, 5th rounder in 2023. 3rd rounder in 2025. Pasi Pakarainen and Tuomo Jakola, 5th rounder in 2025. Those are the boys that are going to be on the way out at this stage. As again, we've kind of reached that point already where, hey, we got to start making some choices on who stays and who goes. Worth noting, we still have $14 million in cap space. These are the top dogs in free agency this year. Of course, we will not be going for any of them. And surprise, surprise, the vast majority are RFAs, at least for the super high-end talent, so I wouldn't expect too much change there. So let's go ahead. I forgot our coaching staff is as rock solid as it is. There is an A+ level, but it's not worth blowing up my staff for. In terms of scouts, okay, we do still have some Bs in the mix, which is okay. So let's go for the top 4 here that are A-, and we will slowly try to get those B-level scouts out exclusively for A's because we're going to need all the help we can get. Again, coaching staff, there's not too much we can do to improve it, so we are pretty much good to go to the start of next season and to see if we will yet again be back in the playoffs. I mean, you'd certainly like to think that we would be, given that a good portion of this team is sticking together, but man, this game, you never know. You never know. We could be absolutely dreadful. We could be. But the way this league is turning out as well, some teams, given year, they're not bad. The next season, they're actually pretty damn good. So, goalie-wise, Wroclaw and Vinny, Russia, Winchester in the AHL. Perfect. Defensively, Dragicevic still hasn't improved beyond an 80, which is horrifying. He's not going to be that great, really, but he's still good enough to be a top defender in this league. And look at how many defenders we have that are NHL caliber. Even Seidenberg isn't that bad. If I wanted to consider playing Seidenberg, we'd have too many players there. What if I just temporarily send down a forward? So defensively, right, like we know we won't play Little, Stolarz, Pierala. Who are we going to play, though? Left side is Chow and Ivanov, who both went up by like 6, didn't they? Weren't they 68s? Maybe not. But still. So obviously Seidenberg, I think, would really benefit from top line minutes in the AHL. You could argue Watkins would too, but he would be playing within his role. Evanoff is the low 4. Chow is a low 4. If one of them were to go medium 4, it wouldn't be that bad. Stajan's definitely on the team. Skinner at a medium 6. Caleb Parker's probably out. Unless we wanted Virtanen to improve, but I think Virtanen could go. And honestly, if we consider Dragicevic and Skinner... Well, Skinner would be a right side defender anyway. I think Parker's out, is what I'm seeing. I know he's a top 4 guy that we're paying $4 million to, but again, I feel like we can set our sights on those who can significantly improve. You got Chow at a low 4, Evanoff at a low 4, Bakos the low elite, Watkins the low elite, Seidenberg the low elite. We got to go with those low elites. I think Chow and Evanoff go down. Call up those two for the moment. Dragicevic, Stajan, Skinner, Bakos, Watkins, Seidenberg. It's still damn good. I mean, again, obviously we have, as I love dropping stuff, we have our AHL defense, which by the normal standards of an AHL defense would be pretty good. 4 of these guys belong at the NHL level, and at least one of them will be scratched. So go figure. So over here, Ray is certainly on the way down. Keith improved, which is great. Left wing side, Glenny can go down. And obviously nobody there will be NHL caliber. And then we can call up those two really quickly. Delorier and Ombull. We don't really have the players that could play center otherwise, so that's looking pretty locked in that Delorier and Ombull will both be on this team. Obviously Delorier, we haven't seen too much improvement, but we'll see. It's just who else makes the team. And I mean, Keith is a medium bottom 6. Dezote's not going to get that much better. It might be Dezote that's on the way out, but damn, he was so good in the playoffs. But I think we give Keith a chance at the NHL level. There were some people surprised we didn't play him at the NHL level last season, so it works out. AHL teams should do pretty damn well, given the circumstances. So let's go best lines. And double check Moses as a medium 9. Obviously, Sekala we want on a higher line. And then for the centers, Oswald can go down. We'll have Delorier over Ombull. You got Bell as a medium 6, Lindgren as a medium 6, Ahonen and Vukafuji. And there we go. Lindgren, Misa, Landeskog, Bell, Delorier, Sekala, Vukafuji, Ombull, Moses, Ahonen, Oswald, Keith. Defensively, it's already as I would want it. Pretty much. Yeah, I can't really find faults in that. That looks pretty damn good, unless we wanted Watkins on the higher line, but that looks pretty damn good. I like it. The only argument could be, well, I mean, Bakos or Seidenberg with the higher ice time over Watkins. Maybe even Seidenberg with Dragicevic to hopefully shelter him a little bit. But again, imagine if Seidenberg, for example, goes up to medium elite after a season playing next to Dragicevic. It can happen, and that would be outstanding for us. I mean, that would be franchise-changing to have him go medium elite. He would end up easily being our best-rated defender. AHL-wise, fairly obvious. We're going to need a new head coach. We will take the low 6 Samu Virtanen out. I mean, again, I really like the fact that he can provide a little bit. Honestly, I mean, the oldest is Caleb Parker. Maybe we take out the veteran, get Piarala in there. We got the low 4s and then the 2 low elites, Little and Stolars. Let's get Piarala on the second line. And honestly, we can have the low 4s together. That works for me. Forward-wise, is there anybody in here? Mikhail Brodin, who is not actually ours, which is okay. There's Nikulin. Okay, so it's Brodin and Prince that need to be on a lower line. We want to sort this by potential, so low bottom 6. Tough to say that won't be the worst. You could argue, though, Justin Dezote, since it's already at least locked in. So we'll get those low bottom sixes on the lower lines. Is there another medium bottom six? Aside from that one dude, there is not. So from there, it's the low nines. And we got a choice to make here between Nicoulin or Hedman in regards to who plays where. Nicoulin doesn't have much going for him, nor does Hedman, but given that Nicoulin's a sniper, we'll just put him there on that top line. That's fine. Face-off wise, it's going to be a disaster because obviously we have a shortage of centers. And, well, hey, we'll make the best of it. That's pretty much all we can do. Thank God the actual center of the line has the best face-offs there. And while Prince doesn't, there we go. So obviously we still have to change around the coaches and stuff like that. We should be a playoff team again next season, right? We absolutely should be. So let's see. Who do we have? We got 7 coaches. So McIntyre right now is our NHL head coach. 65% scheme fit. What about Banting? Banting at a 57, so not him. Watton. 51, not him. It won't be McPherson. We have Chorney, 63. There's Booze, 54. And it looks like McIntyre is still going to be the guy. He is. All right. So McIntyre, you are good to go. Again, AHL head coach. I do want to sort through this really quickly. So Chorney is a 51% fit. Booze is a 59. We have Kaliko at a 53. Let's send down Watton at a 51. And then Banting at a 56. So if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember if it was Chorney or Kaliko. It wasn't Chorney. It must have been Kaliko. And if it wasn't, then it was Booze. Oh my God, but is it actually Booze? Did I get this entirely wrong? I did. So Murray Booze, head coach of the AHL side of things. Good power play setup, good PK setup. That's all looking good. Could use an AHL goalie coach. And there is a C-rated coach down there, but his teaching's only a B. So we're going to avoid him. And actually, really quickly, let's make you the associate coach because I just realized my mistake. Let's get that goalie coach in there. Because, of course, we do have more than just Nick Russia down in the AHL now that we're trying to train up. And then our scouts. Our scouts. It's tough to tell where we have the majority of the extra ones. No, it's not. The answer is Sweden. So we need an extra Liga scout. So we'll try to round out Europe. Send you over to Czechia. A lot of Russia, a lot of Liga scouts. Okay, so we need a U.S. East and a U.S. Central. As you do. Let's go with Central first. And all the way down to the bottom, take out a Russia scout. And go with USA East. I still think I'll stay with the extra scouts, 2 in each of Russia, Liga, and SHL. And then the only question is, I think the OHL could be the one without the extra. I'm good with that. We could sign one more scout. It is what it is. So heading into this season then, Misa, Landeskog, Dragicevic is still our guy. I'm good with that. Let's take a look. Obviously, head coach did not change, but these are the line fits that we have. AHL is looking a bit better. It's still not a great fit for the defense, but hey, it's the best that we can get right now. So the big question is, are we a playoff team? And I want to take a look. I want to sim. Obviously, we won't be able to directly compare ourselves to Buffalo. They'll have a preseason style lineup. But I do want to know 71, 66, 76. Obviously, our defense could be a little bit better. But, man, you look at us compared to Buffalo, and obviously the Misa and Landeskog picks, what they have meant to this team, it can't really be measured. And I think overall, I'm going to go all the way to January here because I don't know if it's worth changing anything about the team, you know? I mean, there are obviously other players that could, that could get called up, maybe be a little bit of a better fit. But for the most part, we are really doing our best to kind of prioritize potentials. So maybe it'll work. Maybe it will not. We'll see, though. We were off to a decent start. It's amazing how 3-1, good. 3-2, oh, not so great, but it is what it is. And obviously, the sim's a little bit slower. It gives us way too much time to think and to be concerned and to overthink. Should we change something? Are we going about it the wrong way, prioritizing those with potential over the best available? I mean, there's always something you could change, that you could tweak. Is it better? Is it worse? Who's to say? But we can officially say now, 13-3-3. We're off to a very good start this season. Tampa's not been that bad either. We do beat them in overtime. Again, they ended up with that franchise-level player, and an 80 overall franchise-level player ends up being tremendous, really. So right out of the gates, too. You don't have to wait for all that long, really. 16, 6-5, couple more losses here and there. But if we keep up this pace, we will very, very, very much make the playoffs, and perhaps quite easily. So 27-6, approaching January 1st. We just beat Dayton 11-3. Merry Christmas. 22-7-6. Make it 23-8-6 on January 1st. Top team in our division with 3 games at hand on the Toros. Michael Misa has been awesome. Let's take a look. Lindgren, 38 points. Johan's been fantastic. Misa, of course, 12-42, and then 28-23 for Landeskog. Derek Bell, 14 points. 11 for Delorier, and Tuukka Seikola, 21. Second line, not quite clicking. Seikola, though, up to a first-line talent, which is very interesting, because that might just force the change and swapping he and Lindgren, because we'll get more out of Seikola if he's playing within his preferred line. Fukufuji, 19 points. You got 13 goals for Ambul. Moses on 8 and 19. 115 points. All right, cool. That fourth line's clicking a little bit. I think we do bump up Tuukka Seikola. I think we do. We put Lindgren on the off wing. It's a shame because Johan's been great, but man, if Seikola can really take that next step forward, we have to do it. Seidenberg, 14 points plus 20 alongside Lukas Dragicevic, which is amazing. 16 points for Bakos, 13 for Edwin Stajan. You got Watkins on 18 points, Skinner on 12. And goalie-wise, Vinny with an 892. Rotzlaff has been significantly better. I think that's the only thing to change, is to just try to get that much more out of Seikola on the season. Let's keep it going. And if the team starts to really kind of struggle because of that one change, we can always move it back. But I would like to think we are a strong enough team. The top 6 is strong enough, and a move like that wouldn't potentially harm us. I mean, we lost 1-0 our first game in, but hey, it was, we were back after a break. That's all. That's all. We'll give the boys a chance to heat up, and outside of that loss to Houston, heat up they certainly did. As it would take a pretty sharp collapse, like a drastic downturn in form. We would have to lose, I don't want to say 75%, but as a rough estimate, probably about 75% of our games to miss out on the playoffs from here, if not more, now on 35 wins. We are we're there. We're going to be right back in the postseason. I don't know if it will be as the top seed. It might not. It didn't really help us last year. We lost in the first round, so that sucked. But hey, we'll list ourselves as buyers for the optics, even in the trade deadline. Cannot happen whatsoever. 40 wins now. A month to go in the season. 50 certainly within striking distance. We're 14 points up on the Toros in second place in this division, even though, again, we don't have the same structure as the modern NHL. 5 more wins to go. Make it 4, 3. An overtime loss there. A win against Hamilton. 49 wins. And we get our 50th against Hamilton. An absolutely tremendous season. 53, 18, and 11. But not listed as the top team. Let's look at the standings first before the players. We know Landeskog crushed it. So let's take a look. In the Hunter division, we were the only team to make the playoffs, which is insanity. It was nice to be in a division. Man, it's it's everybody else and then us at the top and Quebec at the bottom. The Kaplan division, the Golden Blades, Raiders, Philadelphia, and Dayton all made the playoffs. Out of the Hatskin division, Nashville, Atlanta, and New Orleans. New Orleans making it by 1 point over Baltimore. In the Murphy, it is Portland, San Jose, and Vancouver by 1 point over San Francisco. You have the Dano division with the Kansas City Kings. Indianapolis makes it, as do St. Louis. And in the Baldwin, Houston and Phoenix. We were the second best team in the NHL. We will be the 2 seed behind the Portland Axe. And maybe that's for the best. The overtime losses nearly propelled us there, but we finished 1 point, really 2 points short. It would have taken 119 points to beat them. We finished dead even in goals for, but neither of us were at the top. 2 teams broke 300, Atlanta and Houston. And in terms of goals against, we had the fewest. The only team to allow less than 217. We were at 191. Poor Baltimore, by the way. Great defense, did not matter. 22% on the power play, which was 3rd best in the NHL, or the WHA, whatever you prefer. And PK-wise, we were in the top 5. So we were an outstanding club this season. Michael Misa and Matthias Landeskog, insanity. 83 assists for Mika, 62 goals for Misa. That is 62 goals for Landeskog. Not even a career high, though, but it is the 3rd time he's scored at least 62 in his 4 seasons. Lindgren, 71 points. Obviously still had the power play time. Sekala on 60 and up to a 79. Moses had a great season. Vukafuji did very well. Bell with just 39 points. I'm a little bit concerned about his ability to score at the high level. I am. Keith on 35, Oswald 32, Delorier, bit disappointing. Ombull, 30 points as a rookie with 23 goals. I mean, our lowest scorer had 28 points and 21 goals. You can't be too upset about that. Defensively, 53 points for Dragisevich. Holy eights. Watkins on 35 points. Seidenberg on 31. Showing up now as a 73 as a rookie. You got Skinner, Stajan, and Bernd Bakos. Tremendous scoring across the board. Goalie-wise, Scotty Wroclaw is our man. Vinny wasn't bad, but yeah, no doubt about it. The former Thunderbird in Wroclaw. That is our guy. Con Bedard, unfortunately, is the man. Still leading the way. Ola Berglund up there for Houston. Emil Yarventi up there as well. Russ Volk, Hamel, Coe. And obviously you get the likes of Landeskog. A lot of 100-point getters this year. Top goal scorer was Russ Volk in Vancouver with 66. Bedard, Landeskog, and Ola Berglund, the only other 3 out of the 4 to hit 60. Defensively, 100. Caleb Purcell. Jesus. 3rd round pick. What that would have meant to us. You got Yves Perry as well. Pecoranta, 7th overall a couple years ago. Axel Sandin Palika there as well. 27 goals for Purcell, leading the way. Goaltenders, the winningest, Scotty Rotzloff. Shutout leader with 7, Gabriel Daig. And the save percentage king, Remy De La Fontaine was up there. But it might be Scott Rotzloff's Vezina. And then the rookie race, Mats Lilia runs away with it. Jesus Christ. 4th overall of San Jose last year, 2 years ago now. Insanity. Insanity. I'm very happy for the most part with our rookies, but yeah, different calibers. So let's get the confirmation of who it will be in round number 1, and the answer is the New Orleans Swamp Rabbits, and we know, of course, they have a dangerous player. By the way, a look at the updated overalls of the team. Obviously, we would have had some player development this season, so in case people wanted to see what we were looking like there, because of course we didn't see the overalls previously. But let's get a full look at the bracket when we continue next. It is playoff time as Portland plays Vancouver, New York and Philadelphia, KC, St. Louis, New York and Indy. We take on New Orleans. It is Phoenix and Atlanta, Houston and Ohio, and Nashville takes on San Jose. Back in the playoffs again, this time in the lower part of the bracket. Will that benefit us? And by the way, didn't really make a big enough deal about this. We are guaranteed a new Stanley Cup champion because Hamilton somehow missed the playoffs. That's insanity to me. With Zach Benson and company, how the hell did the Hamilton Hounds miss the playoffs? That's crazy. That is crazy. But we'll take it. The door is wide open for a new champion. We'll see if it's us.